Let's get started with just a couple updates with the markets. What's going on in the markets? Well, as you can see here, the S&P 500, we're down 1.1% over the year to date. So over the first 4 months, we're down 1.1%. If you had some Bitcoin, like I had some Bitcoin, it's rough, 19% negative. Gold, we're up 10.79%. Yes, so that's really good. I think it's like at $4,800 this morning. And then silver, we're up 7%. So if you held some silver, you made some money. And then San Diego real estate, we're up 2%. So everyone that owns single family homes or investment properties, you guys are up 2%. So this is why you should have, money in different things. Now, the S&P 500, we talked about this, I don't know if it was last time, but it had dropped to $6,300. Right now it's like at $6,700. And that was the perfect time to just dollar cost average and jump in. I know we talked about it over lunch. I don't know, did anyone buy when we talked about it? No? Okay. Well, I did, and it's working out. So that's the markets. Now let's talk about kind of today's topic. So today's topic is something that we never talked about. And the reason why is because I've never got into it. A lot of people have pitched me over the many, many years that I've been in business. And I was like, I don't know if life insurance is a scam. I don't know much about it, but like the people that are pitching me especially, they're like young people that don't have experience, and then people who don't have money. So whenever someone pitches me, they don't have money, they don't have experience, and then I hear life insurance and IUL and, all these different terms, and I don't know what they mean. Now, I remember that the first time someone pitched me too, one of my first thoughts was, well, I don't want to think of death, like, betting on myself to die or whatever. But then the other part too is, like, I don't have a family, right? I didn't have kids, wasn't married, so it's like, if I pass away, it's like, who cares? Like, I don't need to leave money for anyone, like, really. So that was like the first initial thoughts, 20 years ago, 15 years ago. And then it started turning to the thoughts of, well, I started buying real estate. And by the way, after we're done here this morning at 9 o'clock, we're gonna walk over to the Valeria, the 27-unit apartment complex that I purchased a block away. So you can kind of see the finished product, and the 23 garages, we're gonna, I'm gonna tell you how much it's worth now, right? I bought it for 5.7 million, put 600,000, so I'm all in for 6.5 million. And I'm gonna share with you guys what it's worth today, 7 months later. But anyways, as I started buying real estate, I started to think, well, this is my insurance policy. I don't need life insurance, because if I was to pass away, then everyone in my family gets, a property, and they get real estate, so why do I need life insurance for? And then recently, 7 months ago, I got married, and at that point I'm like, okay, should I look at life insurance again now? Because now I have a wife, we got a kid on the way, so I'm looking at it more deeply, like, okay, is it a scam? Is it legit? How are we gonna, what should I do? So today's session is like, I want to take a lot from it, and I want to learn, and I want to see if it's something that I need to have, or for me personally, am I self-insured? Because I always think about that. I always thought, well, I'm self-insured. I got my real estate, if I pass away, then it's liquidated, and there's a lot of money there, and that's for my heirs, and I'm good, right? So that's what I'm trying to find out today, and I'm sure a lot of people here, like, when I said, hey, is life insurance a scam? A lot of people are like, yeah, because I think a lot of people had the same experience, right? When people are pitching life insurance products and things of that nature. So I don't know anything about it, so I brought someone who knows all about it. And anyone that I deal with when it comes to business, investments, and things of that nature, it's like I heavily vet them. And today's guest is like a legit financial advisor who knows about all kinds of products, including the stock market, including insurances, including charitable remainder trusts, and real estate too. And so that's what he's gonna be talking to us today. He's gonna be explaining how everything works, what his opinions are on different types of insurances, and then that way we could all just really understand it better. And then ultimately, the whole point of Coffee and Cash is to create wealth for ourselves, to create wealth for our family and long term. So welcome Sandeep Barma.
Thank you, Voltaire.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. How many of you heard me speak before here? Thanks for having me back. So, Voltaire asked me, first of all, congratulations. Wedding is expecting Voltaire Jr. in June.
Yeah.
And it's a baby boy.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Life insurance. First, well, let's begin by asking you all, how old is the concept of life insurance? Insuring somebody life for money. How old is it? Give me an answer.
Universal.
30s? Val, what's your answer? How old is the whole concept of insuring somebody's life for money?
That's 60 years.
60-year-old.
So there's term and universal, so universal is when you die.
Okay, good. Oh, it's not working?
No, it is.
Oh, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
What's your answer, sir?
Hundreds of years.
Hundreds of years.
It's
No, you still need this.
Okay.
In the 80s, they made a law of how much you can put into it.
All right. All right, I want you all to listen very carefully and brace yourself, because today's meeting is going to change the way you think going forward. Just like Voltaire's educating you, you all are working with clients and they can use this education. And I'll try to bring in the real estate side at the end of our meeting, okay? So, the concept of life insurance goes back to the Romans and the Vikings. When a Roman soldier fell, they needed 2 gold coins for their rituals. So the churches were the first one to come up with the concept to have those gold coins for their rituals. Now, the way life insurance that you know it today started in the eras of Christopher Columbus, when ships would go out to sea and sometimes they didn't return. So a couple of guys got together at a tavern called Lloyd's in a city called London, Lloyd's of London, and they said, we'll insure that cargo on that ship. And then eventually they said, okay, we'll insure the sailors also. And they would keep track of all the ships that they were insuring and all the sailors that they were insuring underneath the boardwalk. So the term underwriting comes from that era. The concept of life insurance is not new. It's been around. Now, I'm going to cover 100 years of insurance history in a matter of minutes. And I'm going to do my best to do it without any visuals, so you guys are going to have to stay with me. Am I going too fast? You guys okay? All right.
We're good.
Now, when we talk about life insurance, there's 2 types. Gentlemen in the back say it well. There's term insurance. Term is for a period of term. 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, a term. Now, all of you who are in the real estate game, is it better to rent or to own?
Own.
I'm sorry?
Own.
Why?
You get all the benefits.
Okay? All the better. Well, guess what? The insurance works the same way. Term is renting an insurance for a period of term. So let's say somebody takes out a life insurance policy for 20 years, and they have a young child, a mortgage payment, and they go, well, in case something happens to me, the mortgage will be paid off, and my child and my wife will have some money, and you know, and you go. But you know what happens? In year 19, this person gets a heart attack. And they go, shoo, thank God I had this insurance in play. But he doesn't die, he lives. And a year later, he gets a notification saying, your premium is going to go from here to here. And they go like, oh my God, that crooked insurance company. I've been paying my entire life, and now when I need them the most, they're raising the rate. Guess what? That's what you bought it for, 20-year term. Now, that's, by the way, over 98% of term insurance never pays. Why?
Cancel.
Because you cancel it or you outlive the term. Now, then you have whole life. Whole life is more traditional, it's more expensive, it has cash value. Term has no cash value. Okay? Whole life is for your whole life, not temporary. Now, when whole life was started, this is 68 years ago. So you have two types of term insurance. And about 60 years ago, they came up with a new type of policy, the gentleman in the back said it well, called universal life. I don't even know if I should I try to use this?
It's up to you. We got the eraser right here.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So universal life, and when they created universal life, it took the best of both worlds. So let me give it. It's like
Tell your favorite joke.
Yeah. Go, Walter, go.
Yeah, there we go. All right, I think you're good. Yeah, there we go.
All right. So I'll do my best. So you got the term insurance and you have whole life. 68 years ago, they created universal life, and universal life works like this. So let's say, give me a name. Anybody give me a name. John. Give me a woman's name. Sarah. All right. Sarah takes out an insurance policy for $100,000. And her premium is going to be $100 a month because Sarah is 22 years old. So when she makes her first payment of $100, $10 goes into term insurance. And the 90 goes into cash value. Now, as Sarah gets older, chances of her dying increases every single year until, so the cost of insurance goes up every year, until you get to this point in time where you have the entire $100 go toward the insurance, and then the cash value is paying the difference. So when she passes away here, she has a peace of mind that it's a permanent policy. Her beneficiary gets $100,000. It's permanent, and her premium never goes up because she started young. Okay? So she has a peace of mind. Her premium never goes up. Taken care of. Now, from the insurance company's point of view, the way they make money is they make money in three ways. Number one, they can count on this $100 coming in from Sarah, from Sean, from Voltaire, from Bella, from Val, from Sandeep. And pretty soon, these insurance companies had this humongous cash flow that came in every single month like clockwork. And what they did was, they borrowed against the cash flow, and they built these giant buildings downtown. The Transamerica Tower, the John Hancock, the Prudential, the Lincoln, New York Life, all these giant buildings downtown for 4 reasons. Number 1, appreciation of real estate. Number 2, depreciation of real estate. Number 3, cash flow. And number 4, look at how strong we are. We are the pillars of this community. Look at how big we are. Pure marketing. That was one way they made money. The second way they made money is this $90 that went into cash value. They had control over that money. And just like a bank, when you buy a CD from a bank, you buy $100 from a bank, a CD, they're required to hold $8 on deposit, and they loan $92 to somebody else. That's how they make money. They guarantee the interest rate. Well, guess what? The insurance company did the same thing. They guaranteed the interest rate, then they took this money and invested it somewhere else. Now, this is the same time where all the rating agencies were created. AM Best, Duff & Phelps, Moody's, all these agencies, because this piece of paper is only as good as the insurance company. All right? You guys okay so far? Am I too loud? All right. Now, the third way they made money, as Sarah got older, inside the life insurance policy, internally, the cost of insurance went up. Her premiums didn't, but the cost went up internally. All right? Everybody good so far?
What do you mean the cost, like, but not the premium?
Yeah, so she makes a $100 payment. In the beginning, it's only $10 goes toward the insurance. The next year it goes to 11, 12. It slowly increases as she gets older. And then when you get to that 100, the cash value that's been building in here pays for the cost of insurance. So it's basically a fancy way of saving money to pay the premiums in the future.
Got it.
All right? Now, you guys may not believe this, but the insurance industry has one of the most strongest lobbying power in Congress. And over the years, they have managed to get several tax laws passed through Congress that the public has absolutely no idea what they have done. And it's just a mere coincidence that each one of these major laws came right after a war. The first one, by the way, you should take some pictures. First one came after World War I. And it was under the Widows and Orphan Act. Basically they said that if a widow gets cash from life insurance, it should go tax-free. You don't want to tax a widow or an orphan for money on tax. That should be tax-free. Everybody said, yes, that's a good idea. And it all goes tax-free. There's no capital gain tax. There's no income tax. The entire proceeds go tax-free. The second one came after World War II. Everybody said all proceeds inside the life insurance policy should grow tax deferred, just like a 401k or an IRA should grow tax deferred. Everybody said that's a good idea, and they passed. The third one came after the Vietnam War. They said that any money that comes out of life insurance comes out tax-free. And everybody voted on it. By the way, nothing in the financial world can grow tax-deferred, come out tax-free, and pass on tax-free. The only thing that comes close is what? Who? Bingo! Give him a gift. Roth IRA. Senator Roth didn't wake up in 1999 and create the Roth IRA. It came out of the insurance industry decades earlier. All right, everybody okay so far? Now I am in the late 80s, early 90s. The insurance industry created a new type of policy called VUL. And when they created VUL, for the first time in the history of insurance, the insurance companies gave up 2 of the 3 profit centers. And they did something incredible that has never happened before. For the first time, they gave up control over the money. So let's go back to our Sarah, who writes a check for $100. $10 goes into term insurance, but the 90 goes into mutual funds and ETFs, just like Voltaire. So the S&P 500, QQQ, Fidelity, Vanguard, T. Rowe Price, it goes into mutual fund. And Sarah decides if I should be in cash or technology or real estate, not the insurance company. So the only way the insurance company makes money is this third way. All right, you guys okay so far? Let's do a quick quiz. All right, let's say we have a $100,000 life insurance policy and our premiums are $10,000 a year. So we make our first payment of $10,000. How much risk does the insurance company have? $100,000 policy, we make a payment of $10,000. How much risk does the insurance company have?
90%.
$90,000. You die the next day, they pay 100, they only collected 10. Everybody okay? Now, let's say we put the entire $10,000 in the S&P 500. Okay? And let's say we're back in the good old days of the market and our $10,000 doubles in 1 year to $20,000. And we make our second payment of $10,000. So in 13 months, the account has gone from $10,000 to $30,000. How much risk does the insurance company have? $70,000. So even though we became a year older, the risk to the insurance company went down. On the flip side, let's say our $30,000 evaporates to $5,000. The risk just increased to the insurance company, right? So on these types of policy, the insurance company doesn't care. If you're conservative, you're aggressive, the markets are up, the markets are down, they don't really care. All they care about is how much risk that they have, and the risk is assessed every single day at the close of the market. Everybody okay so far? Same exact market. Now, when these policies were first created, this was badly abused by grandparents. All right? How many of you have grandparents? All right? Okay, abused. What are you talking about, Sandy? Well, let's talk about this. Let's say we have our friend Bob, who's sitting there. And Bob just found out he's terminally ill. And he goes to his lawyer, Bella, she's a very mean lawyer, Bella, and says, Bella, I just found out I'm dying and my days are numbered. I just want to make sure all my affairs are in order. I want everything to go to my kids, my grandkids. I want to make sure everything is in order. Well, Bella's an estate planning attorney, and she says, Bob, I'm very sorry to hear you say that, but if you're going to die in a short period of time, like this year, because of the size of your estate, because of all the real estate that you own, with all the investments, there's going to be $1 million estate tax or death tax on your estate. Bob says to Bella, hey, Bella, what do we need to do to make sure that doesn't happen? Bella, being the shrewd and the clever attorney that she is, she says, Bob, I have an idea. Why don't we take out one of these life insurance policies? Bob says, Bella, what the hell's wrong with you? I just told you I'm going to die, I'm uninsured, but why would you even joke about something like this? And Bella says, no, Bob, you misunderstood me. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to buy a life insurance policy for $1.1 million, and you're going to write a check made out to XYZ insurance company for $1 million. Except we're not going to insure you. We're going to insure your granddaughter, Sarah. So Bob writes a check for $1 million to XYZ insurance company. How much risk does the insurance company have? Alicia, how much risk? $100,000 on a 22-year-old. 6 months later, Bob has died. And Sarah goes to the insurance company and says, you know what? I don't want this policy anymore. I wish to surrender my policy. She pays a $5,000 in surrender charges to the insurance company. But ladies and gentlemen, Bob just successfully transferred $995,000 to his granddaughter without a nickel of taxes. In 1988, the IRS got a wind of this and came down hard and heavy in the industry and said, from now on, anybody who takes out one of these policies, there is a maximum of how much money you can put in here based on your age and the amount of insurance. And if you break this rule by $1, we're going to take away one of the 3 tax breaks we've given you. These policies are heavily regulated by the IRS the SEC, and the insurance commissioner. This is not an average type of policy. And if you think we're talking about life insurance, you've missed everything I said. If you say, I want to build wealth for my family, for my future, if I have an extra dollar, where's the best place for my dollar? If you understand this, you'll say, wow, this is for my future. All right? Everybody okay so far? Yeah. Now, I'm in the 90s. The insurance industry created a new type of policy called IUL. IUL stands for Indexed Universal Life. And they basically said, it's like this, except if the S&P does 10%, you only get 7%. And if the market does negative 10, you don't lose any money. But in this policy, 100% of the money is controlled by the insurance company, not you. So it's a hybrid of this, just in a different form. All right? Now, late 90s, the insurance industry created another type of policy called SVUL. SVUL works the same way as the VUL, except this was created for estate planning purposes. This insures two people on one policy, and it only pays when the second person passes away. You guys okay so far? All right. Now, questions?
The variable life, can't someone just get that for tax purposes? You can draw against it, you can take it out. You're not going to get taxed on it, you can pay it back.
So you're exactly correct.
Repeat the question, please.
The question is, the variable universal life, can you just do it for tax purposes? Okay. I'm a little older than Voltaire. I have 3 kids, so you're expecting your first one. And I can tell you, as a father of 3, how nerve-wracking it is as that day comes closer as a dad. As a mom, I can't speak, but as a dad, it's kind of nerve-wracking because you have a new person coming in your life and you want to do it with everything's best. Got to make sure everybody's healthy and everything. So, this is my 36 years in business doing this. And when my first daughter was born, I took out a VUL for the purpose of college education. Okay? If you put money aside in a college education, in a 529 plan, in an AGMAT plan, if that child applies for any grants or scholarship, it immediately shows up on the system. If that child decides not to go to school and they go start a business or wedding expenses, you can't use that. There's a penalty for taking that out. But if you put the same money in a VUL and you invest it in the S&P 500, the market does 10, 20, whatever it does. You get 10, 20, whatever it is. Okay? But if you apply for grants or scholarship, it's invisible. If the child doesn't go to school and starts a business, this money comes out tax-free. If it's wedding expenses, it comes out tax-free. And if something bad happens to me, like death, there's a pile of money that's created tax-free for education, down payment, wedding expenses. All right? Now, I was fortunate. I have 3 kids. We took this out for the kids, for in case something happens to me, for education, all these things. But I was fortunate enough to pay for all of their colleges from cash flow. So the money that's built up in here is for my retirement. It comes out like a Roth IRA on steroids. Okay, because you don't have the rules of the Roth. Excellent question. Next question.
So if you have a 529 now, you can roll that into that.
You can roll it, but you can start a new one. If you are putting money into a 529 plan, stop it. Don't do that. Okay? This is better, depending on your situation. Next question.
What do you know about Gerber plans?
Question is, what do I know about the Gerber plan? It's a cute marketing thing, but when you're talking about permanent, it's like renting or things like that, that's what a Gerber plan is. It's a group term insurance that's cute marketing when a child is new and so forth. Next question. In the back.
Do you have a cap per year?
There's no cap. The market does 20, you get 20. Market goes down 20, you drop 20. You have full control over the market. There's nobody in the middle.
What questions do people need to ask their insurance provider?
John has an excellent question. What questions should they ask the insurance provider? Well, these types of policy, you basically, when you apply with like an independent agent where it's not represented by one company. Voltaire said something at the beginning. He's hearing about IUL and all this stuff. All of these are policies. This is not a scam. Hopefully my history gave you all this little background. Okay, these are all solid policy. It just depends on what you're trying to do. At a glance, all of you are young. Voltaire's teaching you about making money. I'm a big fan of the S&P 500. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, it is an amazing time to be in the stock market. Anybody know why? By the way, anybody's afraid of the market right now? Don't be afraid to raise your hand. Why is it an amazing time to be in the market right now?
Everything's on sale.
Everything's on sale. Excellent. All right. Let me tell you something. The reason why it's an amazing time in the stock market because never in the history of mankind so much wealth has been created because of the real estate market. Never in the history of mankind so much wealth has been created because of the stock market. Never in the history of mankind so much money is in IRAs and 401ks. $52 trillion and growing every single day as people add money to these accounts. And never in the history of mankind so much money is in life insurance that are maturing. Now, why is it the amazing time? Well, who's heard of the silver tsunami? Who's heard of the term silver tsunami? Can I ask? Somebody rattle off the answer. What does that mean? The baby boom generation. Okay? 19,000 people per day turn 65 for the next 22 years. Think about that. 19,000 people per day is turning 65 for the next 22 years. Now, as those people pass away, the wealth transfer that's happening, when people inherit money, what do they do with it?
Spend it.
Spend it. How do they spend it? They buy cars, new houses, investment. This generation, just like Voltaire is committing to you, this generation, when I started in the business, when I would say, talk about retirement, the common answer was, I don't have time to talk about retirement. I have to make sure my kids are taken care of, my parents are taken care of, I barely have enough money to save for a vacation, I don't have time for my retirement. Ladies and gentlemen, kids today who are 22 years old, coming out of school or not going to school, first question that they ask, when can I retire? And retirement is not 65, it's 45, 55. Okay? And when you inherit wealth, it changes the future. And by the way, in case you guys don't know, this country is built on war. When there's war, it's bad. It's bad what's happening overseas. But it is absolutely amazing for the stock market. All of these defense contractors, all these missiles that we're throwing over there, guess what? All of those have to be rebuilt. And now they're going to be building faster, better ways, cheaper technology to deal with the drones and all this stuff. The printing machine is on full speed. And what does that mean? All of this money that we don't have that we're printing, what does that mean?
Inflation.
Inflation. Best hedge against inflation is the stock market followed by the real estate market. It is an amazing time to be a realtor in this country right now. Do not take your eyes off the ball, okay? You guys should be out there really going after the real estate market because this is big. How much time do I have?
You have 10 minutes.
Okay, does anybody have any question on life insurance? Because I'd like to leave you with something amazing. Any questions on life insurance? Yes?
Is it tax deductible as like for accessory S corp?
Gilbert asked, is the insurance tax deductible? The answer is maybe. If you're owning it directly, no. But if you're owning it through entity, these types of policies are used in corporate America as known as golden handcuffs, golden parachute, where companies will take out a policy under what's called key man insurance, and they'll get that deduction. And you can also, but it just depends on how it's owned.
My question was key man.
Key man. Anybody else have a question on insurance?
Are there any blind spots that you haven't talked about?
Any what?
Blind spots?
Any blind spot? Well, first hurdle you have to get over is the word life insurance. Okay? Because I heard the word scam and all this stuff. This thing's around, guys. This thing's not going away. And the insurance industry has the most strongest lobbying group. The Wall. Look at any major city. Look at the buildings that you see. The Prudential, the Lincoln. Look at how the marketing behind it. This is all history. Okay? Now, I'll give you one example. I do a lot of advanced estate planning. Okay? So one of the strategies that you guys all should be using is what is called the capital gain bypass trust. It's an amazing way to increase your listing. All right, here's how it works. Right now, if some of you who have gone through Voltaire's program has actually done this with my seminars. So I'm happy to do seminars for your clients. If you take out an ad or send out an email blast, right now, how to sell real estate without paying capital gain tax. Guess who's going to attend your seminar? Somebody who wants to sell their property and it doesn't want to pay the capital gain tax. Okay? So now you have somebody who's interested in selling, but they don't want to pay the tax. So it will be your seminar. I'll be your guest speaker like today. And you basically tell them, I am Sarah. I am an amazing realtor in the Bonita area, and this is how long I've been doing. I have a great team of people, and today is a great time to be listing your market because of all of these reasons. But if you're going to sell your property, you can do an exchange, you can do an installment sale, you can do a tenants in common, all of these strategies. But I want to bring value to you, Mr. Client, so I have brought in an extension of my team, ATS/Sandeep, to teach you about the capital gain bypass trust. Now, this client can transfer, who was I talking to at the break? Told me about your property. Nando Mars. Who had the property I was talking to? 750,000. Who's a nurse in here? I'm sorry. I was talking. Oh, you're way in the back there. Yeah. Okay. All right. So he was telling me about his property he bought for $195,000, and it's worth around $800,000. And he's getting about $200 a month as a month is the cash flow. He's taking some money out and so forth, but it's done okay. It's been good for him because he's getting the depreciation and so forth. But here's what you can do. I'll use his example. Now, right now, he's getting about $200 a month, okay? And it's his property's almost paid out because he bought it for $195. All right? Now, here's how this would work. He could transfer that property into a capital gain bypass trust. He would create that trust. Now, there are 30 different types of trusts that are out there, all right, that we're familiar with. But in all trusts, there are three components. There's the grantor, the person who creates the trust. There's the trustee who manages the trust. And there's the beneficiary. Now, the capital gain bypass trust, he would create the trust with his wife, transfer the property into the trust. That's not a taxable event. And then sell it. Because that trust sells the property, there's zero capital gain tax. There is zero recapture of depreciation. And at his, how old are you? 34 years old. Based on his age, the IRS says he has to take 5% of that trust. 5% of 800,000 is how much?
40 grand.
40 grand. Is $40,000 higher than $2,000 a month? Okay, so he's going to get this $40,000 a month, a year, that comes out like clockwork. And that money in the capital gain bypass trust, by the way, the technical name for the capital gain bypass trust is called the charitable remainder trust. But I want you to understand it, but do not repeat that to your clients. If you say the word charitable remainder trust, they're going to run away from you, okay? Because charity begins at home. But the minute you say capital gain bypass trust, they're gonna come and embrace you and say, tell me more about this trust, all right? Now, the way it works is, it's the same trust, you transfer this property, you sell it, you avoid all the taxes, the IRS gives you a tax deduction immediately, you increase your cash flow, and from the excess income, you take out one of these life insurance policy, SVUL. So let's say it's $800,000, and let's say he has 2 children. He takes out a life insurance policy for, I don't know, $6 million, okay? So he takes out his policy, he gets more income, so he's getting cash flow for the rest of his life. If something happens to him, nothing changes, the money continues for his wife. But the minute she passes away, whatever's in that capital gain bypass trust has to go to a charity, a church, cancer society, Sharp Hospital, blood bank, you name the charity. The IRS doesn't care. As long as it's going to a charity, they're okay with it. At the same time, his 2 kids are going to get $3 million each, tax-free, and as long as it's in a special trust called a children's trust, those dollars are 100% exempt from lawsuits, divorce, bankruptcy, estate taxes. Nobody can touch this money except for the kids. Ladies and gentlemen, how long would it take for his $800,000 property to get to $6 million? And what kind of taxes would he pay along the way? How many tenants, toilets, rent control are going to get in his way? All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is an amazing strategy, and the charitable remainder trust has only been around for the last 200 years. You don't know about it. I do a lot of this. Congress started regulating this trust in 1969. This is not a new concept or a loophole. We have over $200 million of charitable trusts that we have done. And a lot of them are real estate. You can also do this with stocks. So if you own NVIDIA or Google or Microsoft, you can transfer the stock and do the same thing with it. All right? I sent through a lot of information at you. Bella's going to hand out for you some Kira. Do I have 5 more minutes?
Yeah.
5 more minutes?
Yeah.
All right. I'll tell a quick story and I'll wrap it up with some Q&A. All right. This is a real story. One of my clients, he's an only child, and his mom has a lot of rentals. You can hand this out. Actually, hand the QR code and the calendar, because we didn't have time to go over this. No, don't do this. That's too much. Just do the QR code and the calendar.
You got the QR code, yeah.
All right. Well, never mind, Bella. Go ahead and hand it out. Go ahead and hand it out. All right. So one of my clients, she has several real estate. She is in her 80s, but because she's done so well with the real estate, when she dies, her husband's already passed away, there's a substantial amount of tax called death tax. And she has only 1 child, and he's not a child, he's in his 50s. And he has 2 grandkids. So through the advanced planning, we took out one of these VULs for $10 million on the son, okay? Now, this was, I should have seen this coming. This was a bad omen. His policy was issued on October 31st. What's October 31st?
Halloween.
Halloween. So he's 51 years old. He takes out a life insurance policy with the help of his mom for $10 million. 9 months later, he's playing pickleball with his wife. And all of a sudden, he drops. and his wife says, "Hey, Dennis, stop messing around. What are you doing?" He doesn't get up. 911 is called. He doesn't get up. And he's pronounced dead before he gets to the hospital. He had a massive heart attack and he died right there. Ladies and gentlemen, the policy was 9 months old when he passed away, and because he died, the insurance paid $10 million tax-free. Just like that. They didn't question it, there wasn't any investigation. It's very black and white. We're all going to die. We don't know when and how. Okay? Once you understand how this thing works, it is a game changer.
Isn't there something like if you miss a payment though, like it nullifies like the whole policy?
Sean asked if you miss a payment, isn't that nullifies that? That is 100% true statement for term insurance. That is not for some of the, and a lot of times when we do these policies, we decide how the premium should be done. So we put in a lump sum. So the example that Bella just handed you all out, and she's giving you a QR code also. There's an example. Well, let me see if I can walk you guys through it.
I don't have it.
Let me hold this. So go to page 1. On your page 1 there, those of you who handed, so we created a character named Bob Sample at age 30, and then we put in $100,000 in a VUL. So you want to do a lump sum, and then we assume an 8% return. Anybody have this? Okay, I'll do my best to just talk out loud. So we put in $100,000, and it's a $2 million policy. At the end of the first year, the cash value is $95,000. That means $5,000 went into commission, fees, charges, but it's $2 million. Now in year 10, I had Bella create this policy where we're adding $38,000 a year. Now you can do it with a smaller number. I just wanted to show you. I don't think I have time to go over this. So when you add money into this policy and the market does whatever it's going to do, the risk is decreasing as the investment is going up. So if you have a $2 million policy and if the cash value goes over the death benefit, how much risk does the insurance company have? Zero. So the IRS said they want to tax this whole thing because you haven't paid any tax on this money. So as the policy cash value increases, it forces the death benefit to increase. So this way you keep all the benefits. All right, that's too much information, but I don't know, where do we want to wrap it up with? Any questions?
Any final questions for Sandeep? Yes.
Just on the capital gains part, is there any time you have to wait before transferring that property, then you sell it to get the gains?
Yeah, 1 week. Piece of cake. And by the way, this is doing. They can transfer the property on Monday. There's only one little caveat though. The property has to be free and clear, so you can pay it off temporarily. So let's say in my example of that $800,000, let's say there's $200,000 of debt in there. You don't have to put 100% in. You could do 50%, 60%, 70%. So you can temporarily pay off the property, put it into the trust, sell it, and then from escrow, say 25% comes back out to pay off the debt, and the balance stays in the trust. So that was really complicated, but that's a short answer for you. Any questions?
Cool.
Voltaire, thank you so much.
Thank you. Round of applause. Nice job. Thank you, Sandeep. I remember when I first met Sandeep, my clients, the reason why I met him is my clients were doing a capital gains bypass trust. And I ended up selling their property, and they did it, and they're really happy, and they own a lot of real estate. And then from there, Sandeep, he said, "Hey, what about you?" And I go, "What about me?" You know? He goes, "Well, I don't know. You want me to make you some money?" And I go, "I don't know, man." I go, "Well, how much money do you got? If you have more money than me, then we could talk." And he got really serious. And then he told his assistant, forgot her name, but like, "Jessica, please leave the room." And I'm like, and she was like looking like on her laptop, and he goes, Jessica, please leave the room again. And she like folded up her laptop, she walked out the door. And then he looks at me straight in the eyes, he goes, okay, I'll show you. And I go, all right. So he opened up his laptop, put it on the screen, and I looked at all the numbers and I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, you can have my money. And then that's how I became his client. And then in 2020, he called me and he goes, Voltaire, I need you to wire me $100,000. I'm gonna make you a lot of money. I go, okay. And it was March 2020. So I wired him 100,000 and he made me a lot of money. How much? Well, not as much as I could have, because maybe like sometime a year later or something, I called him and go, hey, I got this property I want to buy and I need the money. So I took, some money out. But I think the S&P 500 back then was probably like $2,200. Today it's $6,700. So over time it just went up. And that's just the S&P. I forgot what we bought, but...
By the way, I'm asking all of you to send me money because this is an amazing time to be in the market.
Exactly. Reach out to Sandeep. So that's how I met him. And we've made money together. And hopefully we continue to make money together. Okay, a couple of announcements. Next Coffee and Cash, we're back at Provecho. Vanessa, do we have an upcoming event besides next month's coffee? Oh, we have how to play Monopoly in real life. I'm gonna be doing that workshop. So I'm gonna teach you guys how to build a real estate portfolio just like I built mine, and I've helped a lot of clients build theirs. So how to play Monopoly in real life, that's this month on Zoom at the end of the month. And also, in case those of you who don't know, I am a real estate agent. So if you need any type of real estate help, you can reach out to me. I help people buy real estate and I help people sell real estate. And I think that's it. Right now we're gonna walk in 10 minutes, we're gonna walk to the Valeria. So if anybody wants to see the 27-unit apartment complex that we finished, remodeled, leased up, really happy to say that we got 25 out of the 27 units leased. And so I'm gonna share the numbers of how much money it's worth right now and what it's going to be worth after I finish the ADUs that we're going to start working on. So thanks for coming. We'll see each other soon.
Fuzzy about Voltaire and his wife.